This is a 3DS. Nice and shiny, isn't it? Well, basically I got this a few weeks after launch, and it's a fantastic system, a great library of games, and I'm here to show off all the games I own for it. Now, I basically think Nintendo have sort of given up on this now. Well, they've moved on, is probably a better way to put it, focusing their attention on the Switch, and well, they should, I think. So I think it's time to look back now at the amazing games it does have, because I feel like my collection is complete. I don't really see myself buying many more unless I see them going cheap. So I'm happy with the games I own, basically. So before we get to the games I own, let's look at my collection of 3DS consoles, because I bought this one, again, when it came out. And then, a little while later, I bought the 3DS XL, which has the much bigger screens. If you've never actually seen the comparison, there's the 3DS screen, there's the XL screens, much bigger, as you can see. But I don't use the 3DS XL anymore, simply because circle pad comes off. The culprit, the game responsible, will be coming up later. So yes, you can probably guess which one that is, but I think you're guessing wrong. So after that, I saw that as an excuse to buy the new 3DS, and then I bought the new 2DS instead, because I've been waiting for an excuse to buy the new one, even though there wasn't really much point in me doing that, because for my gaming needs. But so again, that breaking was a good excuse to do it. But I went for the 2DS when they brought out the XL version of it for 3 reasons. First of all, this was £60 cheaper. Second of all, I didn't really use the 3D anymore, so the fact that it doesn't do 3D isn't a hindrance for me. And the third and most important reason is it's got Pikachu's face on. I mean, look at that, it's even like the nose sticks up. Okay, so before we get to showing off my game collection, because I'm only going to show you my physical games, so before we get to that, I will just show you now, in case you're wondering, yes, I do own Animal Crossing New Leaf. I have it digital, because in 2013 they were doing this promotion where if you buy 3 games out of 8 it gave you the option between, you get a 4th one free as a digital download. And I thought, well, I'm having some of that, and I thought, well, basically Animal Crossing is the one to have digital, because it's a game that you put it on like for a little while every day, and you play it for a bit, then you come back the next day. If I had to put the cartridge in each time, I was never going to do that. So as you can see, I've got a lot of digital games there. I thought I should point out, Mario Kart 7 I have digital, and Resident Evil, Mercenaries I have digital, and I have Monster Hunter. I think that's a physical release as well, but I have that digital. But I'm not going to go through all my digital games, they're just the ones that are physical as well. So as you can see, I have, I've got them in folds, Game Boy, loaded Game Boy. We'll be here all day if I was going through all the games I own digital. But I do have the Ambassador games, that's something to mention because I will mention that later. So let's not waste any more time and go straight to the physical games. First physical game to show off then is Chibi Robo Ziplash. Now, why am I showing this off first? Well, as any sane person should do, I keep my games in alphabetical order, and DVDs, and pretty much everything I can I have to alphabetise. So my games are no different, which works out well because Animal Crossing New Leaf was the first one I showed really, and that is first alphabetically. So here's Chibi Robo Ziplash. I mainly bought this because it went down really cheap, and it came with the Chibi Robo Amiibo. Say that 10 times fast. And I thought, well, that's going to be good because this didn't really sell that well as far as I know, and I thought this is going to be valuable one day. Kept it in its box and everything, but as far as I've seen, it's still really cheap, so that hasn't really worked out, but it still looks pretty cool. Codename Steam, I got this for £6 about 2.5 years ago. Really cheap, and actually bought it before me and Sophie got married and actually played this on our honeymoon. Again, it's like a third-person grid-based shooter, kind of like Fire Emblem in that sense, but if you've played Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle, then it's very similar to that, I'd say. But yeah, for the cheap price it goes for, definitely worth a try. Crush 3D, this is a quirky little one. It's a puzzle game where you've got like the 3D fields as you see there, but you can crush them into 2D, and sort of you have to solve your way around the sort of dioramas, sort of Captain Toad style that way. And it's pretty cool, this one. It's got me thinking quite a bit. It kind of reminded me of Back to the Future a bit, because he looks a bit like Marty, and he keeps on calling him Doc, so yeah, obviously I'm going to keep thinking of that. Dead or Alive Dimensions, fighting game. If you play the Dead or Alive game, you know what you're getting. Me and Sophie, we refer to this game as Boobies. Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. You know, earlier I mentioned that promotion where you buy 3 games, get the 4th one free. This was one of those games I bought working that offer. I already had this on the Wii, and I loved it on the Wii, but this is the definitive way to play it, because there's no waggle controls, even though I didn't mind the waggle controls. There's an extra world with new levels, and they're awesome. I basically 100%ed this game, absolutely loved it. Definitive way to play it is on the 3DS. I'm surprised this didn't come to the Switch when Tropical Freeze did, to be honest. Speaking of that promotion I mentioned, this is Fire Emblem Awakening. Now, I had my plan for what 3 games I was buying to get Animal Crossing for free. Donkey Kong Country Returns was the first one. The second one was one we'll get to later. And the third one was going to be Lego City Undercover, The Chase Begins. Because I loved the Lego City game on the Wii U, and I thought I'll get the 3DS one because it's like a prequel. But then it got like not very good reviews, and the issues they flagged up put me off. And so I thought, well, I'm going to have to find another one. And there was like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and I can't really remember what else. So this was one of them, and I'd never played a Fire Emblem game before, so I didn't really know what to expect. But then I remember I had the Ambassador games I mentioned earlier. That had a Fire Emblem game on it, so I thought I'll give that a try, see what the series is like. And I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved that game. So I got this one, yeah, and I loved this one as well. Kid Icarus Uprising. Now this is one they made a big deal of in the early years of the 3DS. I think when they first sort of showed it off at that E3, this was a big game they promoted for it. And a fantastic game here. The 3D effect was really good. The controls, my hand falls asleep when I play this game because it's kind of cramped. So I'd love a remake of this game on the Switch with dual analog controls, because it is an amazing game. And it even came with all of these cards that worked with the AR functionality with the 3DS, which didn't really get used a whole lot. And some of these came with the game, others I got with a magazine. So it's a shame I didn't really collect many of these. Give it a few years later, these would have been amiibo cards. Kirby's Triple Deluxe. Now, as you can see, it's a Nintendo Selects game. It's the only Nintendo Selects game I own on the 3DS, I think. It's very much worth the price when it's half price, I suppose. I suppose anything is, really. This one I really liked. You like climbing a beanstalk in this one. You might have noticed through the alphabetization, I don't own Planet Robobot, as that would have come first. I probably might buy it one day if that becomes a Nintendo Selects, but we'll see. Maybe I'll update this collection video in the future if I do eventually buy it. The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. We got onto the Zelda games now. We're going to be on these for a while probably. I really like the Zelda games. This one is fantastic, I think. I remember when this came out, at the time I was doing pantomime. We were doing Puss in Boots. Myself and Declan, who's from this channel as well, were the 2 villains, 2 henchmen. It was quite a fun time, that. But I remember this game came out then because I brought my 3DS with me to like the dress rehearsals backstage, and during the performance nights as well. Between scenes, when we were just sitting around the changing rooms, I would just play this. I'd like get a few sneaky goes on it. So yeah, very much enjoyed this game. Made the panto even more fun, I suppose you could say. Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask 3D. So this one is annoying that I have it in alphabetical order, because this is the sequel to the next game you're going to see. This is one where, when the next game you're going to see came out, everyone wanted this one. And I know when I played through Ocarina, we know what game I'm talking about. I actually thought, man, I wish they brought Majora's Mask to the 3DS, and they did, and it was beautiful. The moon is still a haunting image, and they made it scarier by making his face bigger as well. So yeah, very much enjoyed this one. Ocarina of Time 3D. Now this is one of my favourite games of all time, and yeah, it's even better on the 3DS because you got the touch screen for the menu and the map on the bottom screen all the time. It just makes it so much easier to play through, and not easier in a you'll beat the game too quickly kind of way. I mean more streamlined, more user friendly, I suppose. And I really can't see myself playing the N64 one again after this, because it's just so much quicker to item management, isn't it? And yeah, this is just a fantastic one. And also in the bit, if you played the game, when Zelda throws the ocarina into the moat and then Link dives down and then produces the Ocarina of Time, that dun-dun-dun-dun bit, that is the best 3D effect I've seen on this console, because when Link's holding it, the camera's above him and he's holding up towards the camera more so than just above his head, and it really looked like the ocarina was coming out of the screen. So yeah, this is just phenomenal. Anyway, when I ordered it from Game, they were doing a thing where, exclusive to them I think, where you buy this, they give it to you in this nice gold case with the silver outline. Well, as you can see, this case isn't gold and it's not silver there, it's white. That is because they didn't get their stock in for it, so I got given the normal case. Then they did get them in, and so now I own both boxes for it. So you can see there is a sort of difference in the colour there. So yeah, I own 2 copies of this box, but it's good that I do. I'll explain why later. Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. This one's, I got this for my birthday one year actually. It's like Link Between Worlds' engine, but you like got 3 links. You can play it 3-player. I have only ever played this 1-player, and I actually think this is a really good one. It's a simpler one, more sort of smaller puzzle based and action scenes, just a little bite-sized adventure you could call it. And yeah, it's just a fun time. Luigi's Mansion 2. Now, as you can see, I don't have the case for this. I actually lent this game to Declan, I mentioned earlier, and he had it for a while, and he gave it back to me without the case. Don't know why, he's still got it somewhere. Don't lend games out to people, that's the rule. So yes, I do own it. It's called 2 over here, it's called Dark Moon in America. I don't know why they did the name change, but with Luigi's Mansion 3 out now and it's called that everywhere, I'm glad we've got 2 as a title because there's consistency now. I didn't buy the remake of Luigi's Mansion, I still got my GameCube set up, I can play it there, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, this is a really, really good game. I was playing it before Luigi's Mansion 3 came out actually. I didn't beat it in time, but I've already beaten it before. So yeah, like I said, it's lucky I was given a second Ocarina of Time case, because that is where I keep Luigi's Mansion now. Mario and Luigi Dream Team Brothers. As you can see, I spent $24.99 on this, down from $32.99. What a bargain. And it was a fun game as well. Mario and Luigi Paper Jam Brothers. Again, like with Dream Team, which is over there now, they put brothers at the end, whereas in like America it's just called Paper Jam, or it's just called Dream Team, which they're better names than just having brothers on. I don't know why they've put that there. But this one, I've never actually beaten a Mario and Luigi game, I'll say that now. I just never get through them. It's just a lot of RPGs I never beat. But with this one, at the time I got it, I think it was a Christmas present, but around that time, like in January, that second week of January, me and Sophie moved house, and we were sort of moving all our stuff in there, but I still had to work for 2 more weeks before I could transfer to where we were moving to. So where we were before, I was sort of on my own there without Sophie had moved, and all like the TV had moved, the Wii U had moved, the PS3 had moved. I think that gives you some context for what sort of time it was, because they were the consoles I had out. And so all I had was my 3DS on me, and I had my Kindle that I could watch YouTube on, and I thought, well, I wasn't really doing much at home, didn't really have much to distract me, so I played all the way through this game. I got to the final boss, did not beat the final boss. The final boss was really hard, I thought, so I've not beaten it yet. But still, I sort of owe the time to no distractions to be able to actually play all the way through this. Well, to the final boss anyway. And Superstar Saga, I never owned this on the GBA, so I thought now's the time to buy it on here. Yeah, very good, I thought, even though I've not beaten it. I didn't get Bowser's Inside Story remake simply because I have it on the DS, and you can play that on the 3DS. Mario Golf World Tour, this is a fantastic Mario Golf game. I'd like to see one on the Switch now. Annoying because my brother and I played the N64 Mario Golf a lot back in the day, and in the build-up to this game coming out, we played through Mario Golf on the N64 again. Like, we just played for it quite a bit, I remember, because we were looking forward to this one. The multiplayer is only between two 3DSs. You both need copies of the game, which is very annoying that you can't even play multiplayer with one 3DS passing it between you. Since it's turn-based, why can't you do that? I mean, the N64 one lets you do that with one controller, but it's really, really strange that they've not allowed that. Mario Kart 7, I bought this physical. It's kind of like the saviour of the 3DS really, as well as the price drop and another game coming out later. This game sort of came out at the time 3DS wasn't doing too well. It really took off after this one. This is a fantastic Mario Kart game. I own 2 copies of it now because I have the digital copy because it came with the 3DS XL, so it meant with my second 3DS now I was able to play the proper full multiplayer on this, and that was very nice indeed. Mario Tennis Open, very divisive game, I liked it. There's not really much more I can say about that, it's Mario Tennis. Metroid Samus Returns. Remember when I said my 3DS circle pad broke off playing a certain game, and you'll probably guess wrong what the game was? This is actually the game. It wasn't Smash Brothers, it was this game, although Smash Brothers probably weakened it. So that's why I'm kind of too scared to play this, even with the new one, because I feel like the circle pads are going to come off, but still, it's a fun game. New Art Academy. I got this one quite cheap because I really like that Colours game on the eShop, and this is sort of like that really. New Super Mario Bros. 2, probably everyone's least favourite in the series. It's still a good game though. I mean, it is my least favourite in the series, but a good game. The coin collecting gimmick, I did do the million coins, wasn't really worth doing, but there you go. Still, the actual, if you just play it as a normal Mario game, it's a fun time. Paper Mario Sticker Star. I really had high hopes for this because I love the Paper Mario series. Out of the 5 Paper Mario games, I suppose 6 if you count Paper Jam up there, this is the only one I don't like, unfortunately. I didn't mind the map system, I didn't mind the shorter levels, that's fine, it's a handheld, it's I'd expect that, but I just didn't like that there was no point in battling in this. Colour Splash improved on that, because there was you could level up your hammer, and most of the battles were story based anyway. So Colour Splash was a much better game than this. I'd recommend Colour Splash still. But this one, you had to have these things and you had to use them at specific points, and it was so vague as to where you went with them and where you used them. And Colour Splash addressed that again by having someone in the hub world tell you which thing you need. Didn't flat out tell you where to use it, but they told you better have this one on you, and it made it so much easier to sort of follow. Whereas this one, I just ended up using a guide to get through it because I was fed up with having to just wandering around not knowing what to do. And when you're having to use a guide to get through a game, it's not a fun time. Pilot Wings Resort, this was a very short game. You can get it cheap now, and it's very, very much worth a cheap price. I very much enjoyed this one. Not a lot to do, but you'll have a great time doing it. Pokemon Y. I was very, very into Pokemon in Gen 1, and but then I love Gen 2 as well, but I didn't own a GBA, so Gen 3 skipped me. I got a Diamond on the DS, I played it, I sort of traded it in. I skipped Black and White. I was going to skip these games, but then I saw Declan playing Pokemon X, and I just had to get Pokemon Y. I've got all 3 starters. I've got all 3 of the original starters that you get later through trading with people. And yeah, I've just really liked this one. Sword and Shield out soon. And Pokemon Y, also came with this, a little Pokeball. And what is this Pokeball? You open it up and you can hold some 3DS cartridges in. So isn't that nice? I also forgot to mention earlier, Luigi's Mansion 2 came with this squishy boo. It's like a stress ball. It squishes, look. Oh, look at that. Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask. I love the Professor Layton games on the DS. I've never actually played this one though. Puzzles and Dragons Z and Puzzles and Dragons Super Mario Bros. Edition. Yeah, I got this one mainly because it's got Mario in it. I quite enjoy what I've played so far of it on the Mario side, but I'm not really into the Dragon one. So yeah, I suppose for like it was less than a tenner it went down to, so that's worth it for the Mario stuff for me. Regular Show, Mordecai and Rigby in 8-Bit Land. This one I bought for Sophie. She loves Regular Show. This was the cheapest item I got for free in this 3 for 2 deal. I've played through it, I've beaten it. It's just a standard platformer. It's not in 8-bit. It's a shame this didn't really use more characters from the shows. You could play as, you could switch between the two of these. Like you could go through small gaps, so you could double jump. You could have had like the Muscle Man sort of break through walls, high five ghosts, maybe could go through certain barriers, things like that. But yeah, it was alright for what it was. Resident Evil Revelations. Now this was a big deal, so it was quite cinematic, especially on the 3DS. And sort of return to form for Resident Evil, some people say. More survival horror than straight up action. Yeah, I very much enjoyed this one as well. Shinobi, this one was very cheap. We get this one really cheap now, and it's very fun, very, very hard though. Sonic Generations, I loved this one on the Xbox 360, but 3DS one, it focuses more on the handheld Sonic games, it says, but most of them are the console Sonic games still. So really, but it does have Casino Night Zone, I suppose. And there's not much difference between them because classic Sonic learns the homing attack halfway through, which is pretty much his thing, isn't it? He still has the boost meter, but really it's not as good as the console one, but it's still not bad. Star Fox 64 3D, yes, you have to get this one. Just having this game portable is amazing. Super Mario 3D Land. Now this was the other saviour of the 3DS, as I put it. This and Mario Kart 7 came out around the same time, and what a fantastic game. It was like 3D Mario, but it was like the 2D ones put into 3D, which was an interesting thing to do, and 3D World did it as well, and 3D World was amazing as well. So yeah, very, very good game. I highly recommend this, but I think everyone owns it. Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. Now this is one that came out a few months before the Wii U version, which is probably just as well, because once that Wii U version came out, I never touched this again. My circle pads might have come off earlier if I had touched it again. And I put a lot of time, it's probably my most played one. It's between this and Animal Crossing, that's my most played on the 3DS. So yeah, it's a fun game for a portable Smash Brothers, but there's an even better portable Smash Brothers out now in Smash Ultimate. But still, this was a decent one. Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition, it is. Portable version of Street Fighter 4, what more could you want? WarioWare Gold, I got this for Christmas last year actually, it was on my list. And this is a fantastic game. Why is it not on the Switch? Now I know there's touchscreen mini games in it, but the Switch has a touchscreen, you could have done that. Or if you didn't want to do sort of the dual screen stuff, 3D stuff things, then you could just replace them with the awesome multiplayer that the GameCube version had. So maybe we'll see something like this on the Switch soon. But this was fantastic, I absolutely love this. Charles Martinet's biggest role yet, I'd say, because Wario has a lot of dialogue in this, and it's weird to hear him talking a lot, but the micro games on it are fantastic. I just love this game so much. And finally, it's not the final game, it is the final 3 games, because Yokai Watch, Yokai Watch 2, Bony Spirit, and Yokai Watch 3. These are Sophie's. She loves Yokai Watch. I've played the first one quite a way into it. It's very, very good. Don't get me wrong, very, very good. She's not beaten 2 or 3 yet. 2, they released like 3 different versions of it, but she wanted the Bony Spirits. And yeah, I mean, it's nice to see that this is coming to the Switch at some point. I think we'll get it then. And so I hope this franchise sort of kicks off, because from the way Sophie goes on about it, it's pretty good. And there you have it, that is my 3DS collection. Now you may have noticed as the video went on I was sort of piling up the games like separately. Now this lot here are the games I haven't beaten, and this lot here are the games I have beaten. Just so you get an idea, and there's one more game in the beaten pile than in the unbeaten pile, so I'm winning here I think. It's kind of nice to see them spread out like that, because I can sort of say, right, let's get through this list. I know I'm on the final boss there, that might not take long to beat. So things like that. Obviously some games like New Art Academy, I haven't really put a lot of time into that, haven't gone through all the lessons and stuff, so I'm not counting that as beaten. But some games like Smash Brothers, Mario Golf, Mario Kart, I think I've played them enough to get as much as I can out of them if I don't play them again. So thank you for watching this video. If you feel like I might be missing some games, like How Dare I Not Own Hey Pikmin for example, let me know down in the comments below. Maybe I'll do an update on this in the future if I buy more 3DS games. And let me know what your favourite 3DS games are as well. And if you like this video, give it a like, that would be nice. And make sure you subscribe for more videos to come into the future. So thank you again everyone, and bye bye.